Snowy is coming in with the Amethyst, going to have that same move set as the Zol, and then on the other side, Santy is going to be coming in, saving those gauntlets from the Val, but going to be going on to the pit.
Now, we have seen some strong placements in 2s from Snowy alongside Zatoy recently here at Steelseries 2s just a week ago. But let's quickly look at Snowy's entrance into the bracket. Started in top 32 on the loser's side. So very early down into the loser's bracket, just out of pools on the loser's side. 2-0'd Brian, 2-1 Isidru. That's kind of really early to run into someone like Isidru. 2-1 Stingray, and then 3-2'd Simba to make it here into top 8. But they're ready to get into this. Snowy's already played a lot of games today going down into the loser's bracket so early, but you can see big difference there. Santy coming out just over $7,500 earned so far. Meanwhile, Snowy had a very modest, the number already went away and I forgot it, but it was in the three digits. It's like 380? Okay. So a very modest amount of earnings so far, but that's in a young career that's really just starting now.
Yeah, this is definitely a very strong start for Snowy's 1v1 career, but of course that strong start might be stopping soon as Santy already coming out of the gate swinging big with a long orb string.
Now we are here on the Demon Island with those teeny tiny sidewalls. We've already seen some cannon play just a few moments ago coming out from Sandstorm earlier on the Demon Island. Oh, Santy opening up big already with a neutral signature. Very little damage on this stock, kind of controlling the game so far. Just about 30 seconds in, we might see Santy finding the first KO early on. Yo, that was cute movement.
Yeah, that was really interesting, right? Like 9 times out of 10, especially with Snowy's positioning, a Gauntlet player will come down, go for just that ground pound, maybe even try to go for that turnaround, scrape the knuckles, right? But instead, Santy kind of faked it, dashed forward, and then immediately dodged back, went back, and then threw out the neutral signature, which really threw Snowy for a loop. Snowy was also expecting that ground pound, got caught jumping. That's a nice pickup for Santy.
He was able to just glide over on that corner and then glide back on. Snowy has the axe in his hands. Definitely going to have a range bonus here against Santy for every move other than really maybe the gauntlet downlight. Oh, man, big side air. Yeah. And that's basically going to even it up. At a minute and 15 in, and we're at an even game. Santy's able to run over and grab that orb right as it spawns. Not too much work coming out from Snowy there to keep him weapon starved. Now we're seeing a very different thing coming in with the range game. You're seeing how far he can zone out Snowy with those orb down airs, but he's been reckless so far, and Snowy definitely has the damage lead here.
Yeah, what's really nice for Snowy is, of course, on this axe, on this high-strength Zol, going to be able to trade very efficiently. Each of those hits from Snowy is going to amount to 1 or 2 from Santy. You see, and that's why he's got such a huge damage lead built up onto Santy.
If that ground pound would have hit, Santy would have been dead. Might not even need it. Neutral signature, that means the dodge is down, but Snowy's being very careful. Snowy is in the lead here, but it's not too much in the lead. You see the way that Santy was using those neutral signatures earlier. I would be afraid if I was Snowy right now. Doesn't want to go too hard in with like a dash D-light into the ground pound because he's unarmed. Picks up the axe.
Santy.
Nice side air, and there it is. Snowy, dude, what is wrong with him in the best way possible today? He's on something, dude.
Is that a good phrase?
I don't know.
I've only heard that in the worst of ways, but Snowy clearly showing that something is right with him as he is able to get some good damage built up onto Santy and already getting hits onto that third stock, that final stock. This would be a nice dub for Snowy. Of course, winning game 1 gives you the map momentum. Assuming there's kind of like a back and forth in map picks, you ultimately get to get that game 5 pick.
Neutral sig coming out from Santy. That's going to clean up that second stock of Snowy's. He's going to spawn back in, but earlier when Santy last had orb before he was just juggling there, you saw him play differently than when he had orb before. He wasn't just throwing out those zoning dares. He was playing much more reactive, waiting for Snowy to throw a move out and then punish it in recovery frames with like a neutral light if he was stacked, or if he was a little further away, you'd see him throw out the side light. So much different, already some adaptation coming out from Santy after earlier in the game it did not go his way.
I think Santy's really starting to recognize that Snowy's playing this range game, really trying to play defensive, force Santy to make an approach and then start punishing it. And it's part of the reason why Santy's forced to like go for these weapon tosses to try to open up Snowy.
Ooh, that nair was close. Neutral light coming out. Weapon toss goes just over Santy's head. Picks up the axe. He's going to be looking for another side air here. Would be the third KO on that side air. He's looking for it. Nice fade back on the side. Good movement there.
A lot of movement there, but Santy not able to punish the fact that Snowy was out of jumps. Gonna swap over to the cannon. A neutral light on this corner could be the stock. Doesn't hit the down air. And that's going to be Santy with the punish taking game number 1.
But what a close game 1 that was. Closer than I think anyone would have expected. Even seeing how well Snowy played earlier today, going up against someone like Santy, man, that was so close.
You know, this would be some nice team retribution for Santy if he's able to avenge his teammate who Snowy beat to get into this top 8. We'll see if maybe that's the reasoning why Santy swapped over to the Val, or just wanted a little bit more safety with the sword than he had with that orb.
On the other side, though, it'd be great for Snowy to get basically the full team wipe in one of the best teams on North America. First taking out Simba, now coming after Santy, forcing him already onto the character swap this early on in the set. Snowy Zul, man, one of the last few great Zuls we have in this world.
The last true American Zuls, but we'll see how well he can do with this Zul. Haven't seen a lot from the cannon from Snowy. It's been predominantly axe play, very contrary to the famous Sandstorm Zul.
Nice dare. Beautiful.
That's a stock.
Easy. What an easy edge guard for Snowy there.
It looks so simple for Snowy.
It does.
It's like a beautiful winter snowy day. Untouched snow.
Santy kind of thrown for a loop here. Doesn't quite know how to initiate. Goes for the dash sidelight. Isn't able to turn it into anything other than that. Yeah, he's struggling. He is not finding hardly any initiations here. You've seen him use a bunch of different moves to no effect. You see him try to hit that down light. Didn't work, even though it was max range. The sword, on the other hand, though, he's finding a lot more success here. That might be his focus weapon that he chooses to spend most of this game on.
These downlights are connecting onto Snowy. Couldn't quite find the finisher at the top of the map, and now Snowy's back to the axe, and Santy has to readjust, try to find different ways to approach onto this axe. Gets the downlight recovery, still not enough. Low strength of the Val going up against this relative defense of the Zul.
Now with that low strength, Val is going to have some higher than average defense, but if Snowy's able to run through that, whoa, that movement just barely got around that sword down air from Santy coming out. Snowy's building up this damage. Santy, oh, he just turned red. Oh, but even the GCD light. You saw how far that
love the delay
sent
on
him.
that. Snowy about to extend this lead even further, still sitting on that first stock. Santy about to lose his second one. The neutral light will finally finish off the first stock of Snowy, but Santy's got to come out with something big to even up this damage, because Snowy just needs to find a downlight and he could take this stock.
Yeah, if you're KOing with a sword neutral light from like the right third of the stage, it's taking you a long time to get those stocks. Now, that's not necessarily the worst thing if you're ahead in damage or your opponent is slow to build up damage, but that is not a problem that Snowy has. He's able to take his choice of weapons here. Of course, he's going back to the axe. Gonna strip the field for just a second, throws away the axe, picks up another one, keeps Santy more and more off of this weapon. Lucky for Santy, though, you see that spawn coming in right where he was on the right side. Has that sword, his more successful weapon in this matchup so far, but he's so far behind. Basically a stock, one or two more hits, and it will be an exact full stock behind Snowy.
Yeah, Snowy is just winning this neutral game against Santy. Santy does not know what to do. Here comes the big cannon string, getting it a nice three-piece. Barely misses the down air, but still damage is being done.
Oh my God!
Come on. You watched all three. You could see the target on the ground.
But come on, how many Zuls do you expect to just full charge that one? I still think the single charge is underrated. Oh man, big dare, weapon toss down.
It's gone.
Easy,
It's
easy
gone.
cleanup. Snowy, man. You expect when you see a player like at Snowy's level, or at least like his PR level going into a Santy, like you can sometimes expect the game one to go Snowy's way, right? You call that getting game one when the stronger player loses to the quote-unquote weaker player. And then game two, you can see him turn it around and just completely stomp. That's not the case here. Snowy is keeping this train rolling, and he won game two even better than he won game one.
Snowy is playing. It's like, you know those queen knives that you'll run into in ranked, right? That'll just completely zone you out with the spear sigs, and you're just like, I have to play such a good neutral to get in, to get those punishes. Like, that's almost what Snowy's doing, where he's just playing such an effective neutral game and that Santy is not finding like elongated strings when he finally opens up Snowy.
And that's the thing, like Santy's playing those gauntlets a string weapon, except Snowy is now playing cannon, and he's finding better strings with that than Santy is with his specifically string weapons. That's a bad spot for you to be in if you're Santy.
So we're seeing Santy switch over to the Petra. We'll have those same gauntlet strings, but we'll at least have a little bit more damage behind them with this higher strength on the character. But Snowy back to the axe. Santy not finding any hits with the orb.
Spawn. Snowy's looking for the weapon spawn. He finds it. Big Dare going to bounce off the stage. Both players looking for the KO move. Santy's not going to have the sidelight into the side air as a true kill confirm option because he had the gauntlets in his hands. However, Snowy did have a true kill combo option, and he found it, got the stock, and it's tied up.
Santy very patient, waiting on that soft platform. Snowy just barely missed that recovery, and Santy was like, all right, that's a free punish, gonna get that stock. Keep this one close here in game number 3. Utilizing that soft platform to make the approach onto Snowy. There you're seeing he's only getting like one hit.
Yep. Snowy's just completely zoning Santy out in so many different sequences. This has to be really frustrating if you're Santy to play against. Because you see how much he's committing to movement before he actually throws out a move, and oftentimes when he does finally throw out that move, he's getting punished. Or it doesn't hit.
I guarantee you, if Santy is salty right now, the thing he is saying is like, oh, why do I have to do so much more work than my opponent? That is like #1 salt statement when you're playing against a player like Snowy, and that's what's happening right now. Snowy finding the stock off of Santy. Santy's got to do his best to stay calm. Hopefully Simba's in his ear like, look, I know exactly what to do. You did this exact same thing against me. Here's what you need to do. And hopefully what you need to do is not switch to hook.
Now, I don't think Santy is like the salty Twitter guy who's going to tweet about something that he's angry about after this tournament. He very well may, but let's just say that he was for a second. He couldn't even complain about canon like a lot of people are on Twitter right now. He can't even say it's just canon. He can't even complain about like Onyx signatures either, because Snowy is winning this with canon. He's also winning this with axe.
You could see him come out with like heavy weapons though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You
hear me complain about heavy weapons all the time.
I hear you complain about heavy weapons when you're playing against someone with no heavy weapons. You just get mad.
Toss going in. This is all but over, and it is over, man. Snowy takes it. That one, I'm telling you, man, the one blast, it's a solid signature if you just go for the one blast.
Well, that was a clean bait, too. He did the weapon toss, and then Santy reaction dodged in. Snowy is like, all right, picks up the weapon again, immediately single blast, puts the flower underneath them. And Santy is going to be forced over to the Sentinel for game number 4.
Now, normally when you see a player running through this many characters, it's never a good sign.
Yeah, it's a bad look.
It's like maybe when Kyler did it when he was randoming every game, like that was a different thing. But when you do it and you're losing, it's never a good sign. Now, you also have another close-range weapon here coming in with the Katars on this Sentinel pick. Now, maybe Santy can turn the tide here with his hammer, but he's not doing it so far.
Yeah, the one thing that's going to be nice for Santy on this hammer is if he does get stacked up, he does have some true combos he can go for. You saw that downlight into the down air. Those combos are going to be so incredibly vital. The hard part is he's going to a different string weapon, so he's got to relearn how Snowy's going to react out of these string openings.
And not only is he going to another string weapon, but probably one of the less highly thought of string weapons. Like you compare that to Orb, people like Orb more than Katars. Compare that to Gauntlets, people like Gauntlets more than Katars.
Nice.
Oh man, that was close.
That's stock. That gravity cancel sidelight is really, really good for just keeping the opponent just barely away from the stage, and that's what you saw. Santy going to take the first stock off of Snowy, and we're seeing what Santy can do with these Katars, but Snowy again playing that patience game, just staying just outside those hitboxes.
Yo, the Katar's coming out for him.
And get chopped up. going to back up, wait for the weapon spawn. Yep, it's the axe. Immediately goes for the neutral light, trying to keep Santy back.
Ooh.
Punish. That's the down air. That's going to be the stock evener from Snowy.
So my guess is him going in with that ground pound is he's seeing Snowy in orange, and that's Santy thinking he can make a huge play here. Very high risk, but also extremely high. I'll say medium risk, because he was already very damaged in the stock. It wouldn't take much to knock him out. So his stock was basically already done. So him going for that would be like a medium risk, extremely high reward.
It definitely would have been nice if it hit, but didn't lose too much on that one considering he was already on his way out the door. Nice downline side air will put Snowy off stage. Santy doesn't see the opportunity. You saw him kind of dip down, and he's like, Snowy's not really falling for any of the obvious baits with this one, so I'm just going to back up, cover this corner, maybe force him into wall slip. You saw the double exclamation points come out. Still not finding the stomp just yet, though, but a stomp side air would be enough to get this stock off of Snowy.
Neutral air, though, not going to be the move. It'll knock him out. The second one will, though. Swapping over. Keeping the hammers. You see him throwing all of them out. Is it going to despawn? He grabs it just in time. Weapon spawn coming in. Snowy grabs it as he gets over, around, and behind Santy. There's the stomp dare, the stacked option.
A little bit of damage. Santy needs as much of a lead as he can get. Snowy with the neutral airs. The same back does not find the side air follow-up, and Santy's going to respect the third blast this time from the down sig with Snowy.
Snowy's very close to getting the stock. He wants that axe there. He finds it fading away.
Pretty far.
Gonna go back, maintain stage control. Also grab a weapon. Ooh, that weapon toss.
Oh.
Yo, that was fast. Oh my goodness. Very quick input
ready.
on that. D-Light into the recovery. Going back over to the axe. He's not too far behind.
And
nice
denying weapons.
Sair. Oh man, that was so close.
This is looking tough for Santy, but he does pick up the hammer. Just a little bit of a lead for Santy, but Snowy again, back to that spacing game. You see Snowy constantly with his back to the corner.
Neutral light knocking up big damage, putting Santy into the orange. Big side air. Snowy doesn't throw his weapon away.
Santy's
Oh,
gone.
yo, he takes it with that side air. The edge guard to clean it up. That's Snowy taking the set 3-1. Are you serious?
Yo, Snowy having the run of his life, getting to take out the mid-season championship team by himself. And now that means Snowy will continue on to fight Hosilix coming up in just a little bit. But of course, we are going to be moving to the other side of the bracket where we'll see Azon and Hardy MJ. But before that, check out Snowy getting these stocks off of Santy.
Now, one thing I would not have expected is Snowy's PR 21. I would have thought he's lower than that. I would have expected like late 30s to early to mid 40s, not 21. Respect. I guess, I mean, the reason we haven't seen him on stream, so my eyes have not personally seen him very often. One, he's way better than me, so I'm not queuing against him in ranked. And two, we used to stream like top 12 on, and if you're PR 21, you're not really making it into those top 12 spots, especially in singles. So, man.